Now, fresh clashes have been reported in Dhaka, where Sheikh Hasina's verdict came. Tensions in Dhaka's Dhanmondi 32 area reached a breaking point. You can see in the visuals how fresh clashes erupted, and several protesters are also being reported to be injured in these clashes. The protesters clashed with the cops, and the situation spiraled soon after the verdict that came against Sheikh Hasina, where the International Crimes Tribunal delivered its verdict against former Prime Minister in a crimes against humanity case. From morning until evening, this area has been tensed. The area turned into a battleground as clashes, chases, counter-chases and the detonation of more than 100 sound grenades rocked the neighborhood. You can even hear the sound of those grenades on the visuals that are coming in. If you can just nat up. Now, Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal has found deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina guilty in the case of alleged crimes against humanity committed during last year's student-led agitation that led to the fall of her Awami League government. Hasina has been sentenced to death and has been found guilty on 3 accounts: incitement, order to kill and failing to take action against perpetrators. Hasina, who is in exile, has been tried in absentia. In a statement after the verdict, Hasina said that verdict announced against her has been made by a rigged tribunal established and presided over by an unelected government with no democratic mandate. The Muhammad Yunus-led interim government has denied that the trial against former Premier Sheikh Hasina was politically motivated, saying the court functioned transparently. Now, my colleague Vishnu Shom spoke to Sheikh Hasina's son, Sajid Wajid. Listen in to this exclusive conversation.
Wajid, thank you very much for speaking to us. My first question to you is, your mother has been handed the death sentence in Bangladesh. Why do you believe that this is fundamental injustice towards her?
For so many reasons. You have such an important trial that was conducted, that was finished within something like 140 days from start to finish, which that's almost impossible. They had to amend the laws to enable these trials to be fast-tracked, which only Parliament can do, and right now there is no Parliament. This is an unelected regime. The government itself is completely unconstitutional, unelected and illegal, and the verdict was predetermined. We all knew. I even said this in interviews yesterday and before this. Everybody knew, all journalists as well asking. I asked the journalists, what do you think the verdict's going to be? Everyone knows this was going to be the verdict. It was a sham.
How is your mother coping with the death sentence verdict? You know, you've spoken to her obviously, and what's her message for her supporters in Bangladesh?
Our message is that this verdict does not matter. This is completely illegal. When rule of law returns to Bangladesh, this will not be sustainable. It will all get thrown out, and we are going to fight for the time being. We are the oldest and largest political party in Bangladesh, and we are going to fight for our rights and for democracy.
With Dhaka renewing its extradition request, India does have a 2013 treaty with Bangladesh. Do you believe that her safety, her physical safety, could potentially be at risk?
Not at all, because again, the request comes from an illegal, unelected, undemocratic government, and the trials themselves were highly illegal. So why would New Delhi comply with such an illegal request? That will never happen.
And you've been given an assurance that New Delhi will continue to defend and protect your mother?
No, I don't have any such assurances, but I just know that everything that has happened in Bangladesh for the last year and a half, and especially with these trials, has been completely illegal and unconstitutional. So it would actually be illegal of India to comply with such an illegal request.
One of the key concerns we've seen in Bangladesh are attacks on minorities, whether it's churches which have been attacked or Hindus. Is the Yunus regime failing to protect your country's secular fabric, something that your family championed?
Not only are they failing, they are actually participating in it. The Yunus regime is backed by Jamaat-e-Islam and other Islamists. And that is why in these upcoming elections, they have banned not just the Awami League, but de facto they have banned all secular and progressive parties. That is why they're doing this, in order to establish an Islamic state in Bangladesh.
You've highlighted the ISI and China's growing influence in your country. Will today's verdict, in a sense, embolden these forces? And how can the Awami League counter them from exile?
The Awami League is not in exile. The Awami League still has millions, tens of millions of supporters in Bangladesh. We've called for lockdowns over the last few days, and people have responded. The lockdowns have been very successful, and yes, we are going to fight. Our people are in Bangladesh. We're still going to fight, and unfortunately, whether anyone helps or not, we will fight.
Shifting our focus to the 10/11 Delhi blast probe, which is now focused on Amir Ali, a key aide of the alleged suicide bomber Dr. Umar. Amir Ali has been sent to 10 days NIA custody. It was under his name that the I-20 used in the attack was registered. Amir's remand copy has been accessed by NDTV, which reveals that he was involved in terror-related activities. The remand copy says Amir provided logistical and procurement support to Umar. It is also alleged that Amir assisted Umar to make IED and explosives used in the blast. Now, NIA meanwhile is probing the angle of multiple cars being procured by the Jaish terror module to target Delhi. Sources suggest that car bomb method was used to bypass layers of security near Red Fort. The cops are also on the hunt for 3 more Al-Falah doctors linked to dreaded nexus. Investigators have used footage from 40 cameras to stitch together the entire route of the accused Dr. Umar Nabi. Through this footage, the police have learned that the Hyundai I-20 car that was used in the blast passed through several sensitive and VVIP areas in the national capital before it happened on the 10th when the blast happened. Now, the probe is underway while 2 more links have been emerging. More stunning revelations in the 10/11 Delhi terror attack case emerged. NDTV has exclusively scooped details of the Jaish terror module that is part of the conspiracy. The doctors of terror had been plotting the attack in the capital for weeks, and at the center of this plot was Dr. Shaheen.
A hidden code language and a terror network led by Madam Surgeon. Dr. Shaheen, the alleged handler in the Delhi blast case, was repeatedly referred to as Madam Surgeon by members of her network. Investigators have unearthed sensational details about the doctors of terror, the Jaish module. WhatsApp chats retrieved from her phone show a pattern of frequent calls and messages from 2 unknown numbers. Both identities are currently under investigation. Neither numbers carried a profile photo and were saved under the aliases Madam X and Madam Z. According to investigators, the messages appear to be written in a coded language. The word medicine surfaces multiple times, and agencies believe it may be a code word for explosives. One message from Madam X reads, "Medicine should not be lacking for the operation." Agencies say the word operation was likely used to refer to a planned terror attack. Another message sent by Madam Z instructed, "Madam Surgeon, please pay more attention to Operation Hamdard." Sources say Operation Hamdard was the internal codename for a recruitment drive, a push to enlist female operatives into the terror network. With each layer of coded communication now being decoded, agencies believe they are closing in on the deeper network behind the Delhi blast conspiracy. NDTV Bureau Report.
NDTV has also accessed critical forensic and CCTV-based findings on the route taken by suicide bomber Dr. Umar Nabi in the hours leading up to the Red Fort terror attack. The NIA says the terror module used multiple cars to evade security, and the Hyundai I-20 that exploded passed through some of Delhi's most sensitive and VVIP zones. Take a look at this report.
In a major breakthrough, investigators have reconstructed the exact movement of suicide bomber Dr. Umar un-Nabi, using footage from 40 CCTV cameras across the capital. The Hyundai i20 he was driving, confirmed to be the vehicle-borne IED, can be seen moving through some of Delhi's highest security corridors. Dr. Umar drove the car around VVIP Delhi, Kartavya Path, India Gate, Akbar Road and Lodhi Road. Sources say the terror module deliberately chose a route through these VVIP zones to blend into routine high-traffic movement, making surveillance nearly impossible. Agencies believe the car bomb method was selected specifically to bypass the multiple layers of security around Red Fort. Meanwhile, the NIA has arrested Amir Rashid Ali, a resident of Pampore who allegedly conspired with Omar to execute the attack. The car involved in the blast was registered in his name. Meanwhile, the NIA has arrested Amir Rashid Ali, a resident of Pampore, who allegedly conspired with Umar to execute the attack. The car involved in the blast was registered in his name. Investigators say Amir came to Delhi to help purchase the vehicle that was turned into the IED. The anti-terror agency is now also probing whether the Jaish module procured multiple cars for attacks planned in and around the national capital. The reconstructed route is now one of the most crucial pieces of evidence, showing not just how the bomber travelled, but how the terror module navigated the security architecture of the capital without triggering alarms. The route map of Umar's final drive is helping investigators close in on the larger network behind the November 10 blast. NDTV Bureau Report.
Now, after former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah's comments on the Delhi blast raised eyebrows, another former J&K Chief Minister, Mehbooba Mufti, made a shocking statement, placing the blame on the central government for creating a poisonous environment in Jammu and Kashmir. The PDP chief went on to allege that the problems of Kashmir were expressed in front of the Red Fort, and the youth of Jammu and Kashmir are being deviated due to the poisonous atmosphere in the state. Meanwhile, BJP has hit out at Mufti and her aides, calling this statement condemnable and accusing her of playing dirty politics over terror. Earlier, remember, Farooq Abdullah had dismissed the results of Operation Sindoor and said that it was important to investigate why the doctors took up the step that they did. Meanwhile, Congress's Hussain Dalwai has questioned the timing of attack and said that the injustice in Valley will have repercussions. BJP has hit back at the Congress for justifying and defending the Delhi blast terrorists. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
लोगों को ये समझ है या वो ये सोचते हैं जितना हिंदू मुस्लिम होगा, जितना ब्लास्ट होंगे, जितना खून खराबा होगा, उतना मुल्क में पोलराइजेशन ज्यादा होगा, उनको वोट मिलेंगे? मुझे लगता है उनको दोबारा सोचना चाहिए। मुल्क कुर्सी से बहुत बड़ा है और ऐसा मुल्क, हिंदुस्तान जैसा मुल्क जिसको दुनिया पता नहीं किस नजर से देखती है, हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई सब भाई भाई की तरह रहते थे, मगर आज पूरा जहर आलूद माहौल बन गया और कहीं ना कहीं वो जहर आलूद माहौल भी जिम्मेवार है जो आज कश्मीर के नौजवान अपने रास्ते से अलग होके कोई खतरनाक रास्ता इख्तियार कर रहे हैं।
कोई ऐसी बात नहीं होगी, उससे तो कुछ नहीं निकला, नतीजा नहीं निकला। हमारे 18 आदमी मारे गए, हमारे बॉर्डरों पर नुकसान हुआ। अल्लाह करे ये दोनों मुल्क अपने ताल्लुकात बेहतर कर सकें, तो वही एक रास्ता है। वाजपेयी जी की बात मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, दोस्त बदलाए जा सकते हैं, पड़ोसी बदलाए नहीं जा सकते। पड़ोसी अगर दोस्ती में रहेंगे तो दोनों तरक्की करेंगे, दुश्मनी में रहेंगे तरक्की सुस्त हो जाएगी।
कि जिस ढंग से कश्मीर में अन्याय हो रहा है उसका भी परिणाम कुछ होगा, ये मानना चाहिए। पी चिदम्बरम साहब वो भी देश के होम मिनिस्टर रहे हैं, उनको बहुत अच्छी तरह से मालूमात है और वो पढ़े लिखे हैं। उनका अमित शाह जैसा नहीं है वो खुद माने जाने वकील हैं, तो वो जो बोलते हैं कि अंदरूनी मामला भी इसमें होगा, अंदरूनी आतंकवाद होगा, तो इसकी जांच होना चाहिए। इसका मतलब ऐसा है कि आरएसएस जिस ढंग से प्रचार वगैरह करती है, ऋतुम्बरा का ये आया था, उनको वो छोड़े, तो क्या सरकार आरएसएस का भी जांच करेगी?
This is very unfortunate that a former chief minister is trying to instigate the youth once again. This is not a good politics. We have seen how New Delhi has taken remarkable steps for the betterment of the situation in Kashmir Valley. Attempts being made to again create trouble in the Kashmir Valley. Such statement made by Madam Mehbooba Mufti is a bad part of politics. Politics should be done on the issues for the betterment of people.
2019 का फैसला शायद नहीं होता अगर महबूबा मुफ्ती जी बीजेपी के साथ हुकूमत नहीं बनाती, जिसका आज ये रोना रो रही हैं। ये रोना बेकार है उनका, इस तबाही की वो जिम्मेदार हैं और उनको हर घर में जाके लोगों से माफ़ी मांगनी चाहिए कि जो उन्होंने 2014 से लेकर 2019 तक किया है।
Taking a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more news and updates. Shifting our focus now to Bihar, where after the poll debacle, what is happening in the Lalu family? Rohini Acharya, Lalu Prasad Yadav's daughter, who is in the eye of a political storm after she slammed her own brother Tejashwi and accused his close aides of mistreating her, doubled down on her allegations while heading to Mumbai. Rohini Acharya has said that her parents stand by her and her sisters were weeping, claiming they were there when the ugly fight broke out between her and her brother Tejashwi Yadav. Rohini once again hit out at Tejashwi's aides Sanjay Yadav and Ramiz. Tej Pratap Yadav, the estranged son of Lalu Yadav, has made strong remarks over his sister Rohini Acharya's sensational allegations against the family. He said, and I quote, "I tolerated what happened to me, but the insult inflicted on my sister is unbearable under any circumstance." Now, senior RJD leader Shivanand Tiwari, meanwhile, has hit out at Lalu Prasad Yadav, claiming that he stood silent as his daughter was beaten with slippers. Remember, this is all source-based information that Tejashwi Yadav's aides mistreated Rohini Acharya with slippers. Now, Sanjay Yadav, who is facing the ire of RJD workers, there was sloganeering against Sanjay Yadav outside the Lalu residence, where RJD workers are now blaming Sanjay Yadav for the poll defeat that was a very face saver for the Mahagathbandhan if they would have won this election. But remember, the Mahagathbandhan came down to double digits in these elections, while the NDA registered a historic victory in Bihar. And now the anger is bursting out against Sanjay Yadav, where RJD workers are holding him responsible. Shifting our focus to the unfortunate news that was registered today earlier in the day. At least 42 people have died after a bus carrying Umrah pilgrims collided with a diesel tanker near Medina. Many of those who died are believed to be Indian nationals, according to a local media in Saudi Arabia. The bus was reportedly on its way from Makkah to Medina when the crash happened around 1:30 a.m. Most passengers on the bus were from Hyderabad in Telangana. The group was reportedly returning from Makkah after completing their rituals and was en route to Medina at the time of the incident, where unfortunately 42 people died. And we also have the reactions of the families of the victims who died in this unfortunate accident. Take a look.
A house in Ramnagar area of Hyderabad, and as you can see behind me, a lock on a door. This is the house from where 18 family members went on this Umrah pilgrimage to Makkah Medina, and they had in fact offered their prayers at Makkah, and then they were proceeding towards Medina when this horrific accident happened. If we just pan and show you that big numbers of people have gathered here, the extended family has gathered here. In this particular house that we are talking about, Nasiruddin, who's a former employee or retired employee of the railways, and then his wife, their 3 daughters and their families, and the families of 2 sons. Only one son who is in the US. He is the only one who has survived this particular accident. 46 people were on that particular bus. 54 people had in fact booked with the Al Makkah Tours and Travels. 4 of them had taken a private vehicle to Medina, and 4 others had in fact not proceeded further, and that's the reason why they have survived the accident. But the 46 people who were there, their vehicle was hit by a diesel tanker, after which the vehicle burnt into burst into flames, and what we are seeing is that only one survivor has come out. The door has in fact been opened, some has none at all. And what do you do? What do you do? You can see the grief that people are undergoing. This is a very private moment for this. The entire family of my brother is gone. That is what the lady is saying, that her brother's family has been killed in this particular accident.
And on that note, we are shifting into a very short break, but don't go anywhere. Keep watching NDTV.